We're gonna UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and dudes for my people. Oh God, neon nigga for feather me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about what the cross actually, what the cross actually means, what the cross actually means, and how the symbolism of it is used. Because a lot of religions and stuff like that, kind of like Christianity and a lot of these monotheism type religions and stuff like that, all the way down to if you want to pull that into cults and occultism, Satanism and Luciferianism and stuff like that. Even though they kind of one are the same, at least to me, they all kind of one are the same for the most part, but yeah, like what the cross actually means and symbolizes for the most part. And it's just the travels of the wandering star. Wandering star being like how y'all like to call it planets and stuff like that. But in reality, it's really just the sun transitioning. And based upon these different sun and moon pockets, because the sun is going to be the seen representation of what that is. And then the moon is just going to be the reflection of what the sun is doing, just in general. So it's that going on based upon those different transitions on a macro scale, and then on a micro scale it turns into the symbolism of how it's utilized based upon those different religions of them trying to utilize it based upon Jesus and the crucifixion of Jesus and stuff like that, and him being crossed. But in reality it's really just the travels of the wandering star above the horizon, below the horizon. So you know what I'm saying, above the horizon will be like dawn, so Aries through Gemini time, so that's during the morning as the sun rises, and then the dusk portion, aka it becoming nighttime, and us going into the twilight zone. So you know what I'm saying? It's the birth of a new day, and then that new day is gonna get closed out into destruction, or the shade, or the nighttime, or the twilight zone, and stuff like that, so to speak. I'm just using it based upon like allegory, so it's easier for you to understand. So based upon that template, that's really how they try to communicate it through the allegories, through things like the Bible, or when it comes to Christianity and the symbolism when it comes to that. But really it's just the crossing or the travels and the transitions of what the sun is doing on a macro scale, and then on a micro scale they're just trying to utilize that star or that sun or that spotlight or that attention to make you pay attention to what they're paying attention to. Because on a broader scale, the things that you see in the atmosphere that happens naturally and organically, like the sun and the moon travel, the celestial bodies, the seasonal transitions and stuff like that, we're doing that on a micro scale. You know what I'm saying? Like this what makes us motivated based upon our spirit, our mind, our body, and it being condensed. And then we can make these different tools and technology and scientific methods in the external world based upon what our flesh is doing, but based upon our spiritual natures and our essence and our substance, our subconscious standing and stuff like that, right? And the space that we're in and what we're creating for ourselves. That's the main reason we are thing in existence, and we're all different types of entities, aka souls. So in the individual spaces, right? From us having our own individual space, and you can't see the spirit, you can't see it, but it's like an essence, it's like an emanation, it's like it being created. So we can have that nuance and that substance of what it likes to be in existence and have that sentience. It's just you can't see that based upon the naked eye, because it's something that's going on beyond just you, because it's based upon an observation point, and we're just paying attention to those thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and giving that sentience to make it have life, so we can actually plan it out in the world, so we can manifest and materialize. Manifesting is manifesting men and women, and then it materializing into the flesh, and then we can see the actual representation of how that would be if it was a shape and form, because we like to fulfill pockets and become shapes and forms from us going through the different spiritual travels based upon knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is just knowledge. Wisdom is acting as a wise man. So you're wisely looking at your thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and you're learning from what you're experiencing and observing on a micro scale and a micro scale. So expansion, contraction, and you're always doing that over and over. So you having some type of direction that you want to go in, right? So you expanding, you expounding, you know what I'm saying? You're externalizing, you're acting, you're, you know what I'm saying, expanding your horizons, like expanding your mind, and then you condense into a new mind and stuff like that, of it becoming a womb or a container or like some type of feminine energy. So you going in something, you're going in the new mentality of what you just expanded out of, and then you put a new container that you can put it in, because you made the container bigger, but it's still going to get contained, instead of it being free flowing and it being all over the place and it's just chaos, and you just adding some order to it so it can go into a certain direction. So you're making the overall awareness, and then you're attracting people based upon what you're paying attention to in that awareness. So it's the balance of the divine masculine, divine feminine, and stuff like that. I'm just saying this is like a precursor to build y'all up, because in general, right? when it comes to the cross and what it actually means, the cross is just like just in general, right? Anytime you see a cross, right, it's like moving across something, right? Across. A just means the point of reference of the first intention, or being the first to do something. The same way how y'all be like, oh, Aries always got to be the first, the trailblazers and stuff like that. Okay, A is the first letter in the alphabet and stuff like that, so it comes first. It comes early. It's the most new. It's the most fresh. It's the most pure. And then you go down the whole entire alphabet and stuff like that. Even alphabet got A in the beginning and stuff like that. So it's just the beginning, the spark, the birth or something. And then it's a cross. So you're going through the whole process, a mechanism. So a cross. So it's traveling. It's transforming. It's transitioning. So from you looking at a cross, that's what a cross means. You traversing and traveling through something. You know what I mean? Now, it turns into these different mechanisms and stuff like that, right? You could be crossing over, you could be crossing through, or you could be crossing under. So what that mean? So that's kind of like above the horizon. You're crossing over something. So if you feel like you over something, you feel like you on top and stuff like that. You feel like you the best. You feel like you're over it. If you're over it, that means you out of it. If you out of it, you're not in something. So I'm out doing something that we both could be doing the same thing, but I'm superior. I'm out doing the thing more than you're doing it and stuff like that. I show that I'm better at this ability. I'm showing I'm better at this talent than you are because I'm out doing it. I'm progressing. Externalizing it, I'm acting on it, I'm outperforming whatever you're doing. I'm showing you I am spiritually, mentally superior in some way, shape, or form. You get it? So based upon that, right? Crossing over something is like progressing, extending, structuring, building, creating. So it's like the Passover. That's why when it comes to the Bible, not even the Bible. That's why when it comes to that holiday and stuff like that, when it comes to the Passover and to be having it during springtime and stuff like that, that's why they call it that. It's like a symbolism because a lot of this is talking about things in the universe when it comes to the sun transitions and stuff like that. So look at like when they start talking about Jesus and stuff like that, right? They're really just talking about the sun transitions and Jesus and the 12 disciples. You're just talking about the sun going through the 12 houses and stuff like that. You can see that in reality when it comes to the sun going through Aries through Pisces and stuff like that. So the same way how you get your ascendant when it comes to astrology, based upon the time you was born, okay, we have that when it comes to with the sun transitions is doing and stuff like that. The Aries time will be 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then it goes from there to Taurus, so 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 10 a.m. and then 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is Gemini, and then 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. not 12 a.m. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. is Cancer, and then therefore. So yeah, 2 to 4 being goddamn Leo, and then 4 to 6 being goddamn Virgo, and then 6 to 8 being Libra, 8 to 10 being fucking Scorpio, 10 to 12 a.m. being Sagittarius, 12 to 2 a.m. being Capricorn, and that's the time I was born because I got a Cap rising, right? That little section of time of that little sun pocket and stuff like that during the transition. So very early in the morning, nighttime, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Aquarius, and then 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. being Pisces, and Pisces will be the last legs of something. So it being the last transition, the tail end of something. So the conclusion, the whole mechanism going all the way down to the conclusion, and that'll be Pisces, and then that'll be the sun going across its whole transitions, its whole entire circadian rhythm, its sun cycle, and then it's gonna go into the new day, morning time, dawn, right? So that'll be Aries through Gemini again and stuff like that. So on a micro scale, that's what it's doing, but on a macro scale, that's like the seasonal transition. So Aries through Gemini, springtime, and then Cancer through Virgo being the summertime, Virgo through Sagittarius, which would be the fall time, and then Capricorn through Pisces, which would be the winter time. And that's doing it on more of like a macro scale. So that's why they'll be all like, oh, okay, this is Aries season, or right now, this is Gemini season. So the last legs and the last transition, the mutable portion of springtime, and then therefore, you know what I'm saying? The cardinal, the fixed, and then the mutable of it spreading out. But like I was saying before, yeah. So it's either crossing over, so it's progressing, extending, structuring, and it going through the Passover, right? So it's crossing over, it's something above the horizon, it's something broad, it's something that's going to be seen, right? And then when it starts to, and then for each transition, it's crossing through. So it's the same way the universe works through you and stuff like that. So from it working through you, it's not for you and it's not against you. It's the universe working through you. So that's when you start to understand sometimes it's gonna work in your favor, aka it working for you. So from you taking advantage of the opportunity, so you can get some type of money or abundance, or you planting a seed and it growing into something beautiful, and you going for some high hanging fruit, some juicy fruit, which turns into some type of goal or talent or ability. Of you have some new type of charisma, character, mannerism, talent that you want to show, and um from it going from that, it can also go into not it basically not going into your favor. So you feeling like the universe is working against you, when in reality it's not really working against you, right? It's just that chance of, oh, other people getting other opportunities, and it's not always going to go in your way and stuff like that. So you're not doing something based upon like an ego and being self-serving. You're always going to be of service, because you learn how to balance between the two. You understand sometimes it's going to go your way, and then sometimes it's not going to go your way, but you learn that equilibrium of you're going to keep on trying to develop that ability regardless if it's going in your way or not. You know what I'm saying? You still have something to offer. You still have something to show. You still work on that ability and try to make it broader, make it expansive. You know what I'm saying? Try to make it more abundant. Try to make it grow. So even though you're not in that position to where you could have the tools to utilize it in a broader scale and stuff like that, you ain't worried about it, because you learn how to self-reflect in the right areas in the right way, and you're going to keep on trying to build upon that thing regardless, even if you don't got the same opportunities or in the same position as someone else. So the minute you even get an opportunity, and to make it so you can get into that position, for one, you work hard for it, so you're going to know what to do with it. And it's not going to be you start being degenerate, and then you always want something always go in your favor, and then when it don't go in your favor, it start turning into you bitching and crying type of energies. And then the minute you get into a certain position to where you can actually have an advantage, you're going to use it for a whole bunch of degenerate bullshit and stuff like that, because you didn't know how to fulfill yourself in the right areas, and it's gonna start turning into like a validation issue or something like that, where you need things of the external world to make you feel like you're something of importance, instead of understanding the essence and the importance and the substance and the nuance of who you are already in the most natural, organic type of way. And you understanding, oh, sometimes it's gonna go in my favor and sometimes it's not, but I need to always be of service and to be in that balance, so I don't be in too much in expectation type of energy and a bias, and I be with all possibilities, aka God, to where, oh, I'm still gonna make this possible either way I go. I'm still gonna be productive either way I go. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, crossing over is like progressing, extending, expanding, structuring, aka the Passover. You crossing through, it's like how I just explained, the universe is working through you, not for you or against you. So it's like you passing through. So that's like you intersecting. So that's combining, mixing, or like making a hybrid. So that's like you combining that's like you having sex within the mind. Sex within the mind just means taking like two different desires and making it into something that's more abundant and stuff like that. So that sexual intercourse. So you able to produce something based upon two different energies, masculine and feminine, a thought, idea, feeling, emotion, which are two different energies, and then you combine those two different energies to make a whole new energy out of it. So you made a baby, you made something that was born, a son or daughter, a baby thought and idea, or a baby feeling and emotion, your sons and daughters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sons of God, daughters of men. If you want to make this into a biblical allegory or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like some apocrypha type of shit. But yeah, it's you crossing through. So that's like you Xing something out, or it being crisscross. So from you combining the two is you Xing something or crisscross. So you can either be Xing something out, or you know what I'm saying? Like but at the same time though, Xing something out kind of goes into like the crossing over type of energy. So I should even try to combine those two. But I'm gonna still break that down. Like crossing something out, right? Okay, if you're crossing something else, that's like you rejecting something or you denying something or you're trying to be out of something. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to put yourself in that outer perspective. So from it being outer, that's like broad. So you're without it. You're not condensing it into something. You're not trying to contain it. So, oh, I'm going to X something out. So anything dealing with the cross and stuff like that, right? Well, I'm going to get to that, right? Like I was just saying, crossing through just means passing through, intersecting, combining, mixing, or making a hybrid, which is like crisscross. So from it intersecting into each other and stuff like that, right? You're combining two different energies to make a whole different energy out of it. So it's going to start going from crossing over, which is progressing, extending, structuring, and going to a passover. You crossing through, passing through, intersecting, combining, mixing, making a hybrid, crisscross. And then crossing under, which is like opposing, rejecting, contradicting, betraying, passing under, which leads into that crucifying energy. So from it being crucified, right, just like Jesus, is you destroying the power of. So it's like a punishment, a discipline, an affliction, a suffering, a misery. And based upon you crossing under, you're going against someone's virtue, someone's progression, someone's stability, someone's creativity, someone's way of progressing, someone's way of going over you and stuff like that. Someone going above the horizon. You're doing some below the horizon shit. You have to pull the rug under them. You have to do some manipulation tactic. You have to, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to do some backhanded, underhanded type of things. So you could be petty, or you could put him in a position to where, oh, nah, you got to be like the rest of us. Like, I'm going to pull your ass down and stuff like that. It's like you holding on to something. If you going over and stuff like that, you're not really holding on to things. You're going to outdo. You're going to express. You're going to extend. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to be boundless. You're trying to show how broad and far you can go and stuff like that. If you're doing it under, that's like you condensing it. It's like a feminine type of energy. It's like you internalizing. It's like you trying to pull the, what they call that? Like crabs in a barrel type mentality. The minute a motherfucker start going up, all of us gonna work together. We gonna pull this motherfucker down so he can stay a demon. He can stay a devil. He can stay being down on the ground just with everybody else and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And don't get lost into the morality aspect of looking at what one thing is good and one thing is bad because of this, that, and the third. I'm just explaining the energies behind it. So based upon, you're trying to destroy the power of something. That's like something going through like a death. If it's going through a death, it's something that's temporary. So it's only going to live for a certain point in time compared to someone who's trying to be everlasting and eternal. So look at that as you crossing over. You're trying to be superior. And then y'all like to attach certain words like that, like God, even though y'all look at God like a deity. But you know what I'm saying? It starts to go into crossing under. So that's like descending something. And crossing over is like you ascending something. Crossing over is like you being everlasting and eternal, high hanging fruit, and then crossing under, that's like low hanging fruit. That's like you destroying something, you being devilish, you being demonic, you descending something, you trying to pull something down, you're trying to make it part of the nether world, the lower region, the nether region, the below the horizon. You trying to put something in the dark, but the whole thing in itself is a transition. It's like a yin and a yang, the light and the darkness. You have the light, which is something that's seen and it's lighter in weight, so it's more weightless or boundless, and then darkness is just the accumulation of light. It going to the transition of many different lights until it starts to become heavy, and then it's like an emotional baggage, and then you have to carry all that weight on your back, and you have to bear all that weight on your shoulders, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So from based upon the cross, right, that's what they be using these symbolisms for when it comes to Christianity and stuff like that, these different religions, because they want y'all to look at the cross, but then they'll put other things in front of it. Oh, Jesus, oh, disciples, oh, him being cross, oh, Pharisees, oh, the you know what I'm saying? Mark, Luke, and John, and Matthew, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but all these things are just different transitions. And really, in reality, it's really talking about astrology and the sun transitions and its different pockets during that season of the year and stuff like that. And that's the only time when the sun is in that certain position and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's really talking about things of the atmosphere. But Point being is, when it comes to the cross and the way it be used based upon the symbolism and stuff like that, oh, they're trying to symbolize that so you can go inside the Baptist church and goddamn the Protestant church and the Catholic church and stuff like that, but they're gonna make some Jesus Christ allegory behind it, aka some white man with the sun shining behind it, and he got crucified because he was trying to be the most helpful, redeeming person, the king of all kings and stuff like that, when really it's talking about internal energies and stuff like that. So the same way how, oh, this person has superstar qualities and things of that nature, right? Okay, the same way how you see the star outside and stuff like that, you're trying to have your own world, your own atmosphere. So you're doing the same thing. So it's something based upon the celestial body. So you're trying to be like the sun. You're trying to be like the moon. You're trying to be like the sky, like the heavens, like the atmosphere. And the atmosphere is just the sphere at most, the world at most. You're trying to make your own world based upon your own creativity and your state of being of what it like to be in your space, how it like to be in your world. And then it just condenses into a mentality, and that's your first body. So your thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and you giving life to that. And then it turns into your second body, which is the flesh. So it being materialized into the physical shape and form to where we can actualize these things on earth. And from us being on earth, it's just the accumulation of the fire, the water, the air, and stuff like that. So the passion, the visions, the intuition, the intuitive outlook, the foresight, the foresight, and the water, the soaking into a certain emotion and feeling, right? From you soaking into that certain emotion and feeling, it's going to start condensing into the clouds. The clouds will be based upon the air. So the information, the analyzing, the thinking, the communicating, just like an air sign. And it's going to become grounded and materialized like how you look at an earth sign or us being on earth right now. So the earth always going to be containing the water, the air, and the fire. And the fire like to be boundless. And then the water is transparent. It's not like the fire, but it's it being transparent, but you soaking into that. So from you soaking into that vision or that imagination, aka something that's internal, is going to turn into something in the air and the atmosphere, to where the wind blowing, you can feel the wind, but you can't touch it until it actually turns into something that's more reality based, aka the ground, something that's materialized all the way down to the physical, to where you can actually physically touch it for the most part. So we're just playing out that because that's like us being in God's body right now. And based upon us having our own mind, at one point we was in God's mind, aka the mind of all possibilities, the thought, that feeling of emotion of someone thinking about you to you for you to even exist in the first place. So from you thinking about yourself enough, that's what made you have your own particular space of like what you like to experience for the most part. Otherwise, you would even have your own mind. You would even have your own awareness. There wouldn't be space between me and you and stuff like that. That's why I be saying shit like, oh, your spirit is your space. For the most part, it's like really simple concepts. Like, you created that of what that is in the first place. It's just you're playing out the after effects. Like, you being in the flesh into the physical. It's just whenever you start to transition, because your spirit is no shape and form, right? And it's gonna eventually expire the same way how your mind. I mean, not your spirit expiring, but your mind and your body expiring, right? These are just bodies and vessels to play those things out. You know what I'm saying? So your spirit is like the gas that's motivating the sentience within your mind, which is motivating your blood and your adrenaline, and you know what I'm saying, you being passionate and you acting out these things in the physical and making it a part of the external world. But these things gonna expire. Things in the external world be expiring and stuff like that. That's why certain areas was the shit at one point, and then people stopped going into certain stores, and the tax rate went up and things of that nature, and then they ended up having to move, and then that place ended up not being that no more, and then someone ended up replacing that thing with something else, aka gentrification and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as lit as it used to be. There used to be a whole local community and stuff like that, and then now it transitioned to something else. So it either turns into like a old small town and stuff like that, where there's not a lot of things going on, or it turns into a thing to where someone starts to capitalize off of it and turn it into something, aka like gentrification, the same way how they gentrifying Atlanta right now and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, right, from it expiring, the things in the external world are gonna come and go and expire. Your physical body is gonna come and go and expire. Your mind is gonna come and go and expire, which is why you could think of one thing 5 years ago, and then 5 years later, you don't think the same way about it. You don't even see it the same way. You don't feel about it the same way, because you observe different things, got more knowledge and awareness, and went through more experiences. So you're not gonna go about it in the same magnitude as you did before. And then your spirit is the only thing that's going to be eternal, and that's no shape and form. So it's always going to create new shapes and forms. So you have to learn how to go through these different cycles and transitions, and that's you traversing and traveling as a spirit, aka you moving across. And then when it comes to the actual cross, when it comes to Christianity and things of that nature, especially when it comes to you know what I'm saying? When they start talking about Jesus and stuff like that and what the cross symbolizes and Jesus died for our sins because of this, that, and the third. No, they really just talking about the sun transitions and it traveling across into different pockets and the seasonal transitions and stuff like that, and they be trying to utilize it in a way of idol worship to where, oh, we want y'all to idolize us like how we be idol worshiping the sun and stuff like that, because we need the sun to live and we are part of the world and we just trying to make sense of the world, but we want y'all to be in our world and our atmosphere and our space of how we look at the world. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a space within a space. Like, we're in a world within a world, but it's like you have to create your own world, but you get caught up in someone else's way of looking at the world, their worldview. And if you get caught up in someone else's worldview, you're too busy focusing on theirs instead of focusing on your own. So you can have your own subjective point of view and your own worldview, and we make the world. We take all of our different subjective point of views to make what the world is at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, just in general, like, we make it what it is. So if y'all keep focusing on degenerate shit and giving attention to it, then the world is just going to be filled with a whole bunch of different degenerate shit. Now, there's always going to be a polarity of, you know what I'm saying, like, of people going against whatever and stuff like that, because it's always going to be a fine balance. But at the end of the day, it's going to be on a higher percentage scale, because on a higher percentage scale, that's what people are paying attention to. Degenerate ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So the world is going to be a degenerate ass, demonic, holistic ass world. But if it was more on a higher percentage scale of people paying attention to things that don't have to deal with that, like some demonic, devilish type of things for the most part, and trying to mix some teamwork at the gene word, some heavenly space so we can bring heaven on earth for real, right? It's going to make sacredness or gloriness or something that's going to help and be fruitful for everybody, instead of it being, a crab in a barrel type of mentality and stuff like that, like I was explaining before. But yeah, that's just what a cross is utilized for. It just symbolizes traveling and traversing. So once it's moving across, based upon that first intention could be crossing over, which is just progressing, extending, structuring, which is just the Passover. You trying to pass through something, right? So intersecting, combining, mixing, making a hybrid, cross, Xing something out, and then crossing under something, opposing, rejecting, contradicting, betraying, passing under, which leads to you crucifying somebody. So destroying the power of, so they can't cross over you, and you end up crossing them out. You know what I'm saying? So it leads to punishment, affliction, suffering towards one's ability to progress even further. And then that's it. And we be seeing in reality on a high percentage scale when it comes to society and, you know what I'm saying, like societal norms or Lionsgate or like Walt Disney, and the way they be trying to program your mind to look at things in a certain way and stuff like that based upon what some colonists did. You know what I'm saying? Like colonization and capitalism and stuff like that. Man, they be playing hopscotch crisscross on y'all all day, all type of Monopoly, Magic Square, mental games and stuff like that, mental gymnastics, to make sure they gonna keep on Xing y'all out and not including y'all into their elite hierarchy or whatever and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they be looking at stuff like, they be looking at shit at like, they be looking at the world in like a dichotomy type of way. They be getting caught up in dichotomy. So it's always going to be like we the high class and you the low class and stuff like that. When really, spiritually speaking, we all on the same level and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you a fucking monkey man just like me. You know what I'm saying? Like we all bleed the same, all type of shit. So it's based upon the state of being that you're in and stuff like that. And you could either do it based upon something productive, something that's angelic or a higher angle, or you could do it for some devilish, degenerate, demonic ass things and stuff like that and try to bring hell on earth, when really it's just you trying to genocide yourself. You trying to kill yourself. Nigga, you like being in hell. You like to self-project. You don't like to deal with your own issues and things of that nature. But that's really it when it comes to the cross. So you have to start paying attention to the first intentions of what people are utilizing the cross for. So you start seeing motherfuckers with necklaces and crosses and stuff like that, even though on a higher percentage scale, we be saying, motherfuckers be using that based upon some type of Christianity, some type of religion, some type of faith and belief based upon occultism and stuff like that. And that's why motherfuckers be throwing at the St. Peter's cross and the upside down cross, and they trying to make it into this whole different thing. Like, it's supposed to symbolize I didn't want to get crucified like Jesus because of this and the third. No, y'all motherfuckers are getting X'd out and getting crucified in the mind, and y'all just getting programmed. So they always gonna cross over you and make crisscross mental games to X y'all out, so y'all don't be in on the energy and stuff like that. And you gotta get like them, aka you have to be under their deification and idol worship of what they made the cross, what they made the cross to be and stuff like that. Which on a higher percentage scale, oh, some Jesuit Jesus Christ motherfucker, and you gonna feed it to their pocket and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Their commissary, and you gotta pay $50 and stuff like that. And then it's gonna be like that Juicy skit where they got the whole Bentley on front of the stage, but you can't drive it. You know what I'm saying? But they flexing that all that money in the commissary made it so they can get that car. You can't drive it though, because that's my shit. So yeah, is it the motherfuckers be utilizing it to cross under? That's why it started to turn to that symbolism or that energy of an upside down cross, aka trying to be opposing or Satan or demonic or trying to be anti to something. So it's like what I was saying before, rejecting, contradicting, betraying, opposing, crucifying a motherfucker, right? It being like trying to cross over. So the same way how y'all look up the right side up cross, so for righteous or justifiable type of reasons, and then you just crossing through, and because a cross is just intersecting something, or making a hybrid, or combining or mixing something together and things of that nature. So once you start to understand that type of symbolism, and then you start paying attention to the first intention of why motherfuckers be using the cross, when you be utilizing the cross, you have your own intention set up of, oh, this is what the cross means and the type of energies I'm going to attract based upon me having a cross, but what am I using this cross for? And then you start to understand, oh, the symbolism behind why they be having a cross in front of a church. And then a lot of these churches and these preachers and stuff like that be preaching to the choir of them trying to send y'all to hell, and then y'all gonna walk straight in a line and narrow to a burning church and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They ever know why, and things of that nature, because they end up getting indoctrinated without even understanding that's what a cross is utilized for, and that's what a cross means. So it's either you moving across somebody and you trying to cross somebody out and you trying to portray a motherfucker, or you're trying to cross them over and stuff like that, like crossing someone over in basketball. You know what I'm saying? You're just going through a transition, a passover, and you're trying to take two different energies, sexual intercourse in the mind, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, mentally speaking, and you're trying to create a whole new energy, and you're trying to pass through that. You're trying to go through that transition and stuff like that to find some new type of goal or some new type of fruit, and you end up crossing them over, aka you're taking advantage of the opportunity to be able to put yourself in a better position compared to somebody else type shit. And then that's really it.